Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world at the moment. Welcome to Transit TV, our first live stream. Yeah, welcome. Want to form an interactive section with our fans to discuss. We know we are going to the business end season in Europe. Many competitions, both the tournaments are coming to an end. We are having quarterfinals, semi-finals, qualifications. And today, we're going to be discussing the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals draw. And of course, subsequently, the semi-finals possibilities and the finals. But we're going to focus on the quarterfinals today. We remember last week, Friday, the draws were made. Arsenal are going to play Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals. Real Madrid will lock horns with Manchester City. Atletico Madrid will be playing against Borussia Dortmund, and of course Barcelona will be playing with PSG. This draw has raised so much conversation all around the globe because at this stage of the tournament, you meet mostly the big teams in Europe who would have won the tournament one time or the other in the past. So basically, and these teams command huge amount of fans all around the world. And of course, conversations are being had. Presently, Arsenal has not been in competition now for 7 years, and they've not been in this at this stage for the last time they were at this stage was 14 years ago. And having the amount of fans that Arsenal has all around the globe, this has generated a lot of discussions and conversations among fans, rival fans. Many say, which is also a fact for Champions League at this stage of the competition, Pedigree has a lot of answers to give to the questions that have been answered at this stage. And considering that Arsenal has not been in the competition for so many years now, and Mikel Arteta, their coach, has assembled a relatively young team. So a lot of people feel that they do not have the pedigree to go beyond this stage of the competition. So it has generated a lot of discussions, arguments, debates. Oh, I try to answer some of those questions today. I will be here to answer your questions. Especially, like I said, the main focus are the games between Real Madrid and Manchester City, and of course Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. So I'll be addressing your questions as they come. Go ahead and send in your questions, and we will try to do justice to them as they come. Let's see who we got here. Let's see who we got here. Yeah, one of the questions that's being asked is, does Arsenal have what it takes to go beyond Bayern Munich in this competition at this stage? The answer is not yes or no. It depends on what side of the debate that you belong. This season so far, Arsenal has done so very well in all the competitions. Most of the time, they don't go by this time of the season, the last 6-7 years. The Arsenal's season is already ended. They're almost playing for nothing. It's just a mere appearance on the matches. But this season, in fact, starting from last season, they've been doing very well. And this season, they are still, if you remember, they're still on the title challenge in EPL in England and qualify for the quarterfinals in the Champions League, which shows that they have there's something new about Arsenal now. Whether you agree with it or not, rival fan or not, if you have been watching Arsenal this season, you will agree with me that they are doing bits. both in Europe and domestically in England. I believe they have what it takes to take care of Bayern Munich. There are so many reasons to this. Bayern Munich presently have a coach in the person of Thomas Tuchel, who, as well, due to poor performance, the club has said is going to leave the club at the end of the season. This can work both ways for the team. It can galvanize the players, and at the same time, it could also make them not put in their best in the team. And the second has been the case. Most of the time, you see a non-spirited performance by the Bayern Munich players. It seems like people who have already done tools for the season and waiting for the season to end to start a new phase with a new coach. So this is one of the problems that Bayern Munich is having at the moment, and it has never been heard that for the past decade they have won the league in Germany. Presently, they are trailing Bayer Leverkusen that is being coached by a young coach, Xabi Alonso, by 7. It was 10 points last week, but now it's 7 points. This has been unheard of. So this tells you the state at which Bayern Munich is at the moment. Whereas on the other hand, Arsenal has not been at this level for so many years. Even domestically, this is the second consecutive year now that Arsenal is competing for the league, which tells you that the quality of the team has come up. And I remember some years back, Arsenal fans and their team were being touted that they never win Big Six games in England. So far this season, they have not lost any. They played 7 and lost. And to top it up, they have also won against Manchester City, a team that has dominated English football for the past 7 years now. So it tells you there is something different about this Arsenal team. And they're not just winning games, they're suffocating teams in their own half, creating a lot of chances and conceding less goals. In their last 8 games, they have scored 33 goals and conceded just 3. For that tells you the state of the team at the moment. So if you look at all these things, though it's said that in Champions League only, most of the time respects or supports pedigree, but there are some years too that some young teams have come up and did bits. If you remember, Ajax three seasons ago also did what Arsenal is doing and went all the way to the finals. So you're not going to just rule out the Arsenal team because you don't have pedigree, but the quality of the team right now, for me, on balance of play, will be too much for Bayern Munich to handle. But of course, football, teams that do well in Champions League, when it comes to games like this, they rise to the occasion. So you cannot rule Bayern Munich out, but looking at it now on current form and things surrounding both teams, you put your money on, of course, Arsenal. So let me see in the comment section. Let me see what you guys. I see you, Babatunde Jabot. Do you believe Man City has the team to come over Real Madrid? If I am a bet man, I will put my money on Real Madrid this season on this game. But these two teams have quality. These are one of the best 2 teams in Europe at the moment. Manchester City won this championship last season. I think it's only one team that has done it back to back, even back to back, which is Real Madrid. Nobody before Zidane did it with Real Madrid has done back to back on Champions League. It's a very tough competition to win back to back. So, and I think Manchester City right now is not the same team that we saw last year. They have been struggling. In fact, they've only won 1 Big Six game in England this season, which is against Manchester United some weeks back. So that tells you the state of the team at the moment. They have lost some very important players and have not managed to replace them. The one that they replaced them with have not really done the business. So I believe Real Madrid should be able to take care of Manchester City in this round and go to semi-finals. That would be my response to that. I see you, Kando Yobado. You say, which round do you think is easier to get to the final? The thing is, if you look at it, you said the route of Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Dortmund, and of course PSG. But the thing is, all those teams almost have the same level of quality. So which still makes it difficult for anybody that belongs to that group. It would have been easier if you put a Real Madrid, Manchester City, maybe Arsenal on that route. You can say that route would have been easier. But the way the thing is is scheduled, it looks like either way where you are is hard for you, because you and there's nobody that is that's going to pull away from each cluster. So it's not easy for anybody at the moment. But what you mean is, which route would a City, Real Madrid, or Arsenal preferred to be in? Yes, then I would say, okay, it would have been better to be on the other side. But those four teams on that side, they don't have much separating them in terms of quality, which means it's going to be difficult for anybody there to come through. Then on this other side, where you have Real Madrid and Manchester City, is the same thing. The quality there, the only team there at the moment in terms of form that is not up to par is Bayern Munich. Arsenal, Real Madrid, Manchester City, they are all doing bits in their leagues. Real Madrid is topping the league in Europe ahead of Barcelona, in Spain ahead of Barcelona. Arsenal is topping the league in England, and followed by Manchester City just by 1 point. So that tells you the quality and what's going on in those with those teams. It's only Bayern Munich that is trailing in their own league and are not doing very well. So give and take, to answer your question, if you mean anything to choose, I would say the other route. But based on how it's scheduled right now, I don't think there's any easier route. Everybody has a difficult route to come out of their group. Oh, you said you can't hear me. Hold on, let me check my mic. Thank you. Let's see what's going on here. Yes, Roberto, I've seen your chat. I don't know what's going on with the microphone. Let me set it up. Thank you. Get out. Give me 1 second. Let me get the microphone. Can you hear me now? Babatunde Okando. Trevor, I can see you there. Can you guys hear me now? Can somebody send me chat on the forum? Let me know if you hear me. Let me know. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello, hello. Who is there? I need to get this fixed. Uh, hello, hello. Oh, Babatunde, can you hear me? Can somebody let me know on the chat room if you're hearing me now? Is the mic all good? Going on. Babatunde, are you there? Is the microphone working now? Can you hear? Can you hear me now? Can somebody confirm to me if you can hear me? Let me know. Let me know in the chat on the chat room if you can hear me. Babatunde, let me know if you can hear me on there so that we can continue. I see you, Tequila. Can you hear me? Oh, thank you, Choma. Thank you for confirming to me that. Okay, so yeah, let me take the questions again. I think earlier on the microphone was not good. Can anybody ask the question, which route do I think is easier to the finals? And my response to that was that the way the two clusters are, the qualities between the four teams in both sides of the route, there's nothing more separating the four teams. So there's no easier route. They're all going to find it difficult because they almost have matching qualities. But if your question you can do is if any team is to choose which route to be, then a Real Madrid, Manchester City, or Arsenal would love to be in the other route. It's easier for them to navigate PSG. I'm sure Arsenal would prefer to play a PSG or Dortmund or even Barcelona instead of going the route of Bayern Munich, possibility of playing the Manchester City or Real Madrid to get to the finals. So that would be my response to that question, Okando, if that's what you mean. But the way it is at the moment, none is easy for anybody because all the four teams in both clusters have basically this almost inseparable qualities or chances. The only difference on the left side of where you have Real Madrid and Barcelona is that you have teams who are on current form and have won this competition recently. So their pedigree probably will see them have an advantage over us now. Whereas Bayern Munich, though they have won it a few times in the last decade, presently are not doing well at all. So their pedigree could also put them through, which means almost all the teams on that left side of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Arsenal, and Bayern Munich. Whereas on the other side, the teams there have not really done much in Europe in the last decade. So that would be my response to that. And I see, Babatunde, you're asking, do I believe Manchester City has the team to come over Real Madrid? Yes, my response to that, I believe Madrid has an advantage in that fixture. The reason is because apart from Real Madrid, it has always been difficult for any team to do back-to-back on the Champions League. So since this season, Manchester City has not been the team they have been the last 7 years in England. Like I said earlier on, there's what is called the Big Six in England. The Manchester City has managed to win only just one game out of the seven fixtures among the Big Six, which is not heard of normally about Manchester City, which tells you where they are this season. On the other hand, Arsenal has won Manchester City for the first time in like 7 years now. So it tells you what is going on with the team. The players, the important player that Manchester City had last season that helped them to win the trophy have all left the team. They have lost Gundogan, they've lost Riyad Mahrez, they've lost and some of the other players that are there now are not really on the same form they were at last season. This season, we have seen Kevin De Bruyne, who is a key man for Manchester City, struggle with injuries. He barely came back 2 weeks ago and still trying to find his form. And the last game, I don't know if you watched the game, you could see he had a scuffle with the coach. So it's really not being smooth for City at the moment. I don't think they will go over Real Madrid in this one. I believe Madrid will come tops in that fixture. Then Pekila, you say, given that Jude has scored the most goals for Madrid, how do you see him going up against Bukayo Saka? Yeah, interesting question. Unfortunately, both of them don't come against each other in this future. They play in different positions, and they're most likely not going to have come against each other as the match goes on. But if you're talking about their performance and their impact they're going to have on their teams and helping them to win this trophy, they all affect their teams differently. Jude Bellingham has been, I think, he's the highest top scorer for Real Madrid from the midfield perspective, and being his first year in Real Madrid. So that is a huge, huge achievement he has done, impact he has had on the team this season. So it's going to be an interesting one. The good thing about it is that both players and both players are young, energetic, but they are affecting their teams differently, and they are all suited to the way the teams they play, how they play. So it's not going to be in terms of individual contribution to the game. It now depends on how the form they play, each of them comes with that day. If you ask me, I think Jude Bellingham has had a very fantastic impact since he moved to Real Madrid. On the day, is a little bit difficult to call this one who's going to have a better impact. I think if I have to put my money, I probably will go with Bukayo Saka, because the reason why I'll say that is because this season Arsenal has had a very strong defensive show all through the season, so they probably will have better structure to take care of the Bellingham as against Saka one-on-one with a defender for Real Madrid, because Real Madrid is not a team that pack the boss or will put two defenders on Saka, and we have seen that this season, when teams don't double up on Saka, he usually causes havoc against such teams. So I believe, for me, maybe I'm not saying Saka is better than Jude Bellingham, but because of the way the two teams play and the way they structure their play, Saka probably will have a better impact on that game than Jude Bellingham. Do you think Arsenal has the toughest route to the final? Definitely, definitely. I know anybody that is an Arsenal affiliate, who, of course, will be looking at the other route and say, hey, I wish we were on that side. Where Arsenal is very, very, very tough place to be. Though it has a little advantage. The advantage is that Arsenal enjoys playing against teams who don't have low blocks, who come out to play. It makes it easier for them to cause havoc. So it might be a blessing in disguise, but on paper, of course, where Arsenal is very tough to them. If they make it to the finals, then that Arteta should be given a serious award this summer. He would have defied all odds against him. You can imagine coming against Pep Guardiola, against Thomas Tuchel, against Carlo Ancelotti. These coaches have won this tournament. Bayern Munich, these three teams have won the tournament. In fact, they dominated Europe in the last decade. So if he can, after 14 years of going beyond the round of 16 Champions League, at the age of 41, which a relatively young team can navigate to the finals, then of course he should be giving his flowers. What is the chance of the Mbappe moves to Real Madrid? Yeah, everybody is saying that this one is written on the stars. It's almost a concluded notion that Mbappe will play Real Madrid next season. But there is still some noise out there that Arsenal and Liverpool could try their luck in luring Mbappe to England. And the reason they have little hope is it looks like Real Madrid has discovered that Mbappe has no much suitors to sign him up this next summer. So they have reduced what they are offering, or insist on what he is worth. It is said that Real Madrid is now offering almost 50% of what they were offering last year. Of course, we know that right now is a free agent. The sign-on fee basically is going to reduce, but the news out there as well is that they're finalizing on image rights and stuff like that. So I believe that for me, 90% Mbappe will play Real Madrid next season. But that 10% also in football that is big and huge. So we'll wait and see. If you're a Real Madrid fan, Babatunde, I think you should be very hopeful of seeing Mbappe play for Real Madrid season. Bayern has Harry Kane, who has broke all records in Germany. On the other hand, Arsenal has Jesus, who has struggled all season. Do you think this will be a problem for Arsenal? Of course, the immediate answer to that is yes. Harry Kane has always scored against Arsenal. I think he is the player between him and Rooney. I don't know which of them has scored most goals against Arsenal. He enjoys playing against Arsenal. But the problem is, last season, if you also remember, Harry Kane scored home and away against Arsenal, but Arsenal won both matches. So he can have his individual win of scoring 1 or 2 goals, but that is not going to guarantee that Bayern Munich will win the tie. Harry Kane can find a net one time, and Arsenal will score 3 or 4 times. Arsenal do not have one single scorer. They share their goals around the team. If you remember, Arsenal has developed scoring goals through corner kicks, which has given them about 19 goals so far this season. And Bayern Munich, as we speak, is very shaky defensively. They don't have structure. They're not organized at the back. So if you look at that, you're not going to look at Jesus. Jesus has been injured. In fact, he has not played in the last 8 games. I think he has only played together maybe 60 minutes. So he can't use Jesus' form to determine what's going to happen in that tie. Yes, I have a feeling, my gut feeling tells me that Harry Kane will score in either of those ties, but it's not going to guarantee Bayern Munich winning the game because of the way we have seen them play recently. They have not had no structure, and they have not been able to stop teams from scoring them. If you remember, Bayern Leverkusen beat them 3-0 2 weeks ago. So that would be my answer to that question. Yeah, keep your questions coming. Keep your questions coming. Oh, yeah. Let's look at. It's good. You brought up the Harry Kane question. I know it's going to be a huge disturbance to the Arsenal team. They're going to think about it. They're going to. Ateta, I know him, is going to plan about Harry Kane. But the difference is that the team that Harry Kane played in Tottenham, the way the team played is different from what is happening in Dortmund right now. And if you also remember, the goals have dried up for Harry Kane lately. I think he is in the last 3 or 4 games, probably he had just scored 1 goal. Before that time, he was scoring week in, week out. So going by that, it probably would be a feel for Arsenal. That's what I think about that. Which players do you think should be watched out for from Manchester City? Interesting question. Kevin De Bruyne, if he is fit and plays the game, of course, Real Madrid need to be ready. I know they will not forget about him because in the last 2 seasons, Madrid has played Manchester City in the semi-finals, and Kevin De Bruyne has really been a huge deciding factor in those fixtures. Another player is, of course, is going to be Rodri. This season, any game that Rodri has not played, Manchester City has lost. He has scored very important. In fact, he has not lost. There's a record that he has not lost a game that he has played for Manchester City in the last 12 months. That was confirmed a couple of weeks back. So Rodri is a very, very important figure for Manchester City. Unfortunately for Real Madrid, the position that he plays is not one that you say you can mark him at. Instead, he is the one that actually marks out there because he's a defensive CDM. And again, he's not just going to stop Madrid from scoring against City. He also chips in with very important goals for Real Madrid at different times. So Rodri as well. Then, of course, last season, Eden Haaland scored 52 goals. That is a feat. I think it's only Messi, Benzema, and Ronaldo that have achieved such feat in the game in recent history. So he cannot overlook such player. He might not effectively play very well, but give him 2 chances, he will score 3. So these 3 players are going to be very key for Manchester City. Then behind them is Phil Foden. Phil Foden is on fire at the moment. You don't want to mess around with Phil Foden. Any sort of the attacking position that he plays for City, he tends to find goals and assists recently. So he also is going to be a very dangerous player to look out for Real Madrid. So these are the 4 players I know that if 4 of them together have bad game, then of course Real Madrid will go through. I can guarantee you that. I think that answers your question, Babatunde. Keep your questions coming as we go. Let's look at Bayern Munich again. especially with regards to their coach, Thomas Tuchel. I don't know what you guys make of him. Thomas Tuchel, for me, has not performed well since he moved to Bayern Munich, and his struggles started in Chelsea. Then, when Toboli took over, a lot of people, or he hit under the Toboli debacle to coach his poor performance at Chelsea. But he has got to Bayern Munich and got exposed again. He's not been doing bits. He has tried to change the the team makeup and gone with probably younger players and new players, which has not gone well with the dressing room and has caused some rancor in there. And consequently, the team has performed poorly this season. So I don't. And of course, we know already the club has announced that he's going to leave the club at the end of the season, which is very, very unfortunate and a big shame. So Tuchel, for me, needs to he might be a very good tactician, but I think he's not a good man manager. He probably might have to, after this job at Bayern Munich, take some break and go sharpen his man management skills before coming back to the game. Otherwise, he might still end up with the same unfortunate situation in any team that is going to take up. With this analysis, predict the first leg. Thank you, Baba Tunde. First leg, Arsenal is playing at home against Bayern Munich. I expect Arsenal to win that game at the Emirates. The atmosphere at the Emirates this season has been out of this world, as it has never been seen before. So I expect with the home crowd and support and the way Arsenal plays at the Emirates, they are going to run away with that game. Or on that same block, Real Madrid, Manchester City, I think is going to be in England. Second leg will be in Spain. If I'm correct with that, I expect City to win that tie as well. But it's going to be a slim victory. What the most that Real Madrid can get from that fixture will be a draw. Atletico Madrid, I think they will play home first against Dortmund. All through this season, Atletico Madrid has been very dangerous at home. I expect them to win that game as well over Dortmund. The best Dortmund can get in Spain against Atletico Madrid will be a draw. Barcelona against PSG. That one, I think, is also going to be in France. For those two, it's going to be difficult to call because PSG, they don't even have home and away. I don't know. That one could be a draw either way. It's going to be the only deciding factor could be Mbappe. Mbappe could just nick it for PSG, if you ask me. That's the only game I think I'm not very sure I could end in a draw in the first leg. Okando, you are asking PSG versus Barcelona, which team has the edge to progress? Yeah, just like I said a few minutes ago, the Mbappe factor will be a huge one for PSG. PSG has moved from the Galacticos formula and gotten rid of Neymar, Messi, all the big names that used to be in that team. So now they have a little bit more balanced squad. Of course, with Mbappe's speed and quality, you know he can always win you games. To saw what he did at the World Cup and what he has been doing for PSG, even the last round. So Mbappe could be the difference between PSG and Barcelona in this tie. And you also have the young Zaire Emery, who has really risen this season to help PSG in most of their games. So he also could be a force. You have Thuram as well. So the fire Dembele on his day is another player that could decide games. So the PSG kind of have the firing power up front to hurt Barcelona. Barcelona on the other side, on the other hand, have been struggling. We also know that Xavi is going to leave at the end of the season, has been announced. So it's I believe I'll put my money on PSG to progress from that time. But of course, it's football. Anything could happen. Keep your questions coming. Keep your questions coming. Still have 20 minutes to end the stream. You guys are doing good. Thank you guys for coming. We'll be doing more of this. It's our first time trying the live stream. Yeah, or we'll get sorry for the audio earlier on in the stream. We'll get things sorted out by the next one. We'll be doing this every Tuesday. Keep your dialogue on this channel at this time. Every Tuesday, we'll be looking at important happenings in the game of football, especially in Europe. Probably next week we'll have the gang Ubum Choma will be on the show to take or help me answer your questions. Yeah, keep your questions coming. Yeah, it's really, you have gotten to the interesting stage of the competitions in Europe. The Champions League, we know, is very glamorous. A lot of people say the best competition in the world, even ahead of the World Cup. So it's very prestigious, and the teams and coaches take pride in winning this tournament. So it's going to be very crucial. It's very interesting. The draws look like they were stage managed, but we'll watch Mikel Obi do the draws last week Friday, and it's an interesting one. The fixtures, I don't think any lover of football in Europe will want to miss any of these games from now going forward to the end of the season. They all look like very games that will keep you glued to your seat for 90 minutes or 95 minutes, the case may be, until the games are over. It's really going to be an interesting one. And Arsenal fans are divided on this. A lot of them are upbeat that Arsenal will come over Bayern and even go all the way to the finals. Like I said, they could have a case to that because the teams on that side of the route play the pattern of football Arsenal enjoy playing against. So it could play in their hands. But if you ask me, Real Madrid and Manchester City will be too much for Arsenal to handle at this stage. And you cannot also rule Bayern Munich out. They have pedigree in this tournament, and they could rise to the occasion against an Arsenal team with lesser experience and pedigree in this tournament. Yeah, I will be ending the stream next few minutes. Any more questions? Yes, like I said, on Transit TV, we will be bringing you more of the live streams to create our interactions with our viewers. Keep it locked on Transit TV. Thank you guys for coming, for your questions. I enjoyed interacting with you on this. Was our test live stream run. We'll get things sorted out and do more streams in the future. Like I said, for now, every Tuesday, there will be this live stream. I see you, Babatunde. You say, if Arsenal win the match against Man City, do you still believe Arsenal may take the league for 2020-2024? With or without, that game is a huge game in terms of who wins the league this season. But you would not be surprised that that game might not decide who will win the league. The reason being that if you know EPL, any team on their day can beat any team. We still have 10 games to the end of the season. So you're not going to hang the winner of the trophy of the league on just that one game. It's huge because if Arsenal wins Manchester City, that will be 4 points ahead of City, 9 games to go. So you could say, yes, it doesn't make them, it's not going to make them win the league, but it puts them on a very, very advantage position to win the league. So that one match will not determine the league. Even if City wins Arsenal, that it makes the case stronger for them, but it still doesn't guarantee them winning the league, because from that end of the season, a lot of things are still going to happen. It's going to be injuries, and it's going to be all kinds of stuff, and play Champions League as well. So that one game, whoever wins it has an advantage, but it doesn't confirm who wins the league. if Arsenal don't beat Bayern, do you think it will affect the mentality of the team? Definitely. Like I said earlier on, as it stands now, Arsenal they are favorites to win that game. Another thing is, there's something I've been saying on this channel, that Mikel Arteta doesn't repeat mistakes. Last season, Gary Neville, if you remember, was saying that emotionally the Arsenal team wasn't showing enough quality to sustain their title charge. And I could agree with him that that was true. This season, they have improved on that. So it depends on what their priorities are. Arteta could have told the players, okay, I don't think we can win these two tournaments. Let's focus our attention on the league. If that's the case, from the outside, we might think that losing the game will affect the players. But if they have a different mentality, a different idea to the end of their season, it will not. So it depends on what's going on inside the team. But from outside, if you ask me, looking in from outside, I would say yes, because it's a game that a lot of people expect them to win. So if they don't win it, it might affect. And don't forget that this game is going to span over 2 weeks. So within those 2 weeks, they will have played 2 or 3 league games in between. So not winning the first leg might affect their next league game, then after the second leg, then after the next game after that. So it is going to be a cluster of 4 or 5 games Arsenal will play within this fixture. And if they don't go through, it might affect results on those games and consequently affect their season. Yes, I think we have done justice to this stream. Thank you guys for staying with us. Like I said, we're going to schedule more of these live streams to have interaction with you guys, answer your questions. The next one, my man Ogun probably will be on here. Choma will be here, and we'll look at and we'll bring some fans as well from other clubs to answer some of these questions as you guys bring them. Thank you very much for being part of this show, and we are done for the day. And I say, as usual, ciao.